Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Lisboa. If you've watched the first video, you'll have an idea of what you're trying to do in this game and what your actions can be if you go to the Noble Court. This video is going to go through your actions when you play on your own board, or otherwise known as the portfolio. When you play into your portfolio, there are two options. The first thing you must understand, before we even talk about those options, is this number here. That shows you that you can only have a maximum of 2 cards in your portfolio. They could be above or below, but only 2 maximum. That also tells me that I can only have 2 of each resource type in my storehouse. So the yellow player who has released one of his rubbles because he has a full set is actually able to have 3 cards in his portfolio and up to 3 pieces of each resource in his warehouse. We'll start with the top. So when you have one of these cards, the noble cards, you play them into your portfolio. You're going to get whatever is in the bottom of the card as a bonus. There may be a disadvantage on some of them. They are indicated with a little cross. So he'll take one of these resources from the bank and add that to his warehouse, assuming he can hold it, and then that just goes into his portfolio. If I have a treasury card, which is one of the ones that doesn't have a face on it, I will play that into the bottom of my portfolio. Now notice, that means I'm taking the money equal to where the treasury token is, so I'll take 3 money. Then that means I'm going to move the treasury cube down 1, and then I push that up into my portfolio. And this will be an ongoing skill that will happen all the way through the game. I just need to remember it's there. But that icon means you get a 1 money discount whenever you're paying for that block color. All of the icons for these and these are in the booklet as well, so please look them up. I'm not going to waste time going through them all because there's a heap of those icons. Once you play a card into either part of your portfolio, you'll do one of these 2 actions. That's the icons for the 2 actions we did in the first video. We're now dealing with these ones. So I'm going to deal with this one first. This is trading with the nobles. To trade with the nobles, that is those 6 icons that I didn't really talk about but said were available to us when we visited the nobles, these 6. It doesn't matter which type of card you've played into your portfolio. So see, I've played a blue face guy into my portfolio. I don't have to visit the blue face guy. I can visit any of the 3 nobles by just playing into my portfolio. When I visit a noble, I will pay a resource to do one of his state actions. I am able to do both state actions, but I'll need to pay 2 resources for that. Each noble wants a different type of resource, as indicated on the bottom here. All 3 nobles will accept gold as their resource, but the guy on the left wants tools. The first thing that he can do, the green guy, is move 2 of your citizens up onto the nobles' offices. So that's these guys. You can't put them both into the same office, but you're allowed to put them in any of the 3 that you wish. So what that does is it changes the value of someone who is going to try and go to visit the noble's office and gain influence. So if yellow is now going to try and visit green and use the green card up here as shown in the first video, he will need to actually pay 2 influence plus the number next to the cube. So he would have to pay 3 influence to do that. The second action that we can do is this one, and that is taking a plan. And what that looks like is it's just taking one of these cards and putting it down on our board. Unless you have one of these and enough citizens up in the offices, you're not going to be able to build the public buildings, which was this icon here from the first video. The second office that you can visit is the blue office. The blue office works with books or gold. So first thing we can do is build a ship. Building a ship is talking about these cards here. There's a pile of these cards. The only one available to you is the one on the top. The cost of building the ship is the hull size. So this ship has a hull size of 1, which means it's going to cost you 1 resource, any type of resource, to build that ship. So I would take a resource, it doesn't matter which one, and throw that back in the bank. Now, be aware, however, I now am trying to have 3 cards in my portfolio. I can only do that if I have a full set of rubble cubes, which I don't. So in order to build the ship, I'm also going to have to take this one or this one out. So I might take that bottom one out for the moment and keep this other guy there just for the moment. Now, the other thing that happens is the treasury we'll move up one, and then we score influence. It's only you who's going to score this influence, and what that looks like is there's 3 influence there, there's another one there. So we've just got 4 influence for orange. So we come to the influence track, 1, 2, 3, 4, and push that forward by 4. It's as easy as that. We now have a ship, and I'll talk to you about how to use ships in a moment. The other action you can do up here is create goods. If this is what the board looked like, orange has 1 store facing Gold Street. So when I create goods using that action, I will create 1 resource of gold. However, if the first of the houses that I took out was this one, that gives me 1 more of one of the resources. If I've taken all 3 of them out, I'll be able to build 1 extra of every single resource that I'm doing. That basically depends on where my shops are or stores are up in the streets. But for the moment, I've just got 1 extra. So I would actually take 2 gold to come into here. However, I can only hold 1, so I would only get 1. When I do that, I also, every time I create a product, I devalue it. So that token, the gold token, comes down showing that gold is now only worth 5 rather than 6 because there's more of it in the city. That's all for the middle guy, and now let's come across to the red guy. The red guy, when we visit him, he will accept material, which is the pink one, or once again, all gold. So when you go here, you will visit the cardinal, and that looks like moving this meeple forward 2, and then taking one of these 2 tiles that's next to him. But what I'm going to do is add that to my cardinal tiles. You can only hold 4 of them at a time. He will continue doing his rounds. When he passes that icon, we move the cube back up 1. When he gets around to this icon or passes that icon, then everyone has a chance to score influence. The way to score influence is you start with looking here, and you must sell one side. Sell that for 4 wigs. So orange would get 4 wigs. That's then sold. I don't have that benefit anymore. And once again, look up all those icons in the book. Now I'm able to rescore my influence, so I would then get another 4 influence. Because orange is on 9, he'd go to 10 and get 1 more wig for doing so. Then yellow would have the option of doing the same, of selling his token, but he doesn't have anything that's going to give him influence in his portfolio at the moment, so he'd probably just pass on that rather than getting rid of the token, which should have given him a wig when he built that. But that's, once again, that's all the bonuses in the book. So let's keep moving on. The other action that you can do when you're up here is the Royal Favor action. And what that looks like is taking one of these 3 tokens. Say I take that one. I'll put that down there. You can only have a maximum of 1 from each of the 3 different types of noble. So this player currently has 2. What those are used for is when a player goes and does an action up in the royal court, like I showed you in video 1. So say yellow was doing that, he would pay his influence and then do one of these actions without having to pay the resource cost, then he has to do that action. This player can then trade in that Royal Favor token to also pay the influence. So orange would have to pay 1 -1, so it's actually a free action for him where the disc is at the moment. He could do one of these 2 actions for free, and then he has to do that action. So that's called following, and you can follow any other player's action as long as you have the appropriate Royal Favor token. Now that's all you can do off the trade with the nobles. There's one more action you can do when you play a card into your portfolio, either top or bottom, and that is sell goods. What selling goods looks like is there is a ship that holds 1 good, so I can sell one of these goods to that ship, and I will gain the money of what that good is worth, which at the moment gold is worth 5, so I will get 5 money for selling to that ship. I, as the orange player, can also sell into other ships if I really want the money. So what I can do is I could sell another gold over there, and this one has a hull size of 2, so I could also sell books over there as well which is also worth 5. So what I've just done is I've earned 15 money. This ship has a 1 money bonus, so that's plus another 1 for each of those goods. So it's 17 money coming into the stores of this player. Now what happens when a ship is full, You flip over those tokens and notice that wig on the back. So orange will get 1 wig for having a full ship, and that ship is set heading out to sea. Yellow also now has a full ship, so we flip both of those over. Yellow has 2 wigs coming to him. So yellow gets some points for other people playing into his own ship. And now when it comes to yellow's turn, at the start of his turn, he has a ship out to sea. So what he will do is turn these 2 over and put them into his storehouse, because it's like the ship coming back from sea and returning with some goods. And that is now available for him to be able to sell goods into again. So that's one of the things you can do at the start of your turn. The other thing you can do at the start of your turn, if you've got a ship out to sea, rather than flipping that over to get the good back, you could just take 1 money if you're really desperate to get some. As I stated in the first video, the first half of the game finishes when someone releases their second set of cubes, or when 3 out of those 4 piles of cards are depleted. And that's the same for the end of the game. But when the end of the game happens, say orange removed his 4th cube, yellow was the start player, so orange is actually the end of the round. If yellow were to do it, orange would have his turn for that round, and then everyone gets 1 more turn. Once everyone's turns are up, we then go to the scoring, and you're going to score the size of the hull in your ship, or how many sets of rubble cubes you have in your on your board. So each set is worth 3 wigs from memory. You're going to get points for having the most stores on each street, and that's the listing of how many points first, second and third for the most stores in each street is worth. You're going to get a wig for every 5 money that you have. You're going to score the points off these endgame bonus cards. You're going to score points according to how many citizens you have sent to create public buildings. So in this case, the player who has sent the most of them will get 15 wigs, second most 10 wigs, third most 5 wigs. Obviously, if you are 4th most, you get 0 wigs. And then you will get another wig for every one of these tokens that you have left on your board unused, so influence at the end of the game. That, my friends, is Lisboa. I hope that this helps you get Lisboa to the table. I hope you're able to get through it and learn the game really quickly. I hope you're able to teach others. There is a steep learning curve on your first couple of games, so please bear with it. I suggest watching these videos, or just getting people to watch these videos before they come over to your place if you wish to play Lisboa as the first time. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be gamesplained, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games that I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.